Oh man, I really gotta fix this room up a little bit. This is kind of a little junky everywhere. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that somebody was there watching me as I was talking to myself. This is kind of awkward. Okay. That was an awkward start to the video. How do I rectify that? Okay. Well, welcome back to the Burke Armory. Of course, my name is Jamar Burke. I'm your host of this show, page, whatever you want to call it, this YouTube channel. If you see my last video, again, you notice that I am wearing the same clothes that I did previously with the same pair of glasses that I was wearing in it as well. And I'm here to talk to you about the 6.8 round that the U.S. government, U.S. military showed. Now, if you've seen in, I don't know, a video earlier in the year, you may have heard me talking about the 277 Fury, or it's also known as 6.8 by 51, or maybe 6.8 Fury, I don't know. And how the U.S. military adopted a new AR-10 308S round, kind of how like they did after they replaced the M1 after World War II in M14. And then we saw how much of a failure that was. Sorry, let me buckle my glass a little bit. Oh, it's better. So, yes, the U.S. military, specifically Army, has adopted the 277 Fury, or 6.8 Fury, or 6.851, whatever you want to fucking call it. And I've talked about in that video, I owned one, I showcased it. Would you believe me if I said I don't have it anymore? I'll let you point out that. I don't have it. And there was a multitude of reasons, but mainly because the popularity of the round isn't there. There's only one manufacturer, and that's SIG, of course, that hasn't come out with it. Actually, let me get a little bit serious here. Let me take off my glasses. Usually when people get serious, they kind of put on the glasses or not, but let me get a little serious. The way SIG came about getting this contract, some would say is a little sleazy. They don't quite know what they're doing, which I kind of believe that. But nonetheless, it's starting to falter a little bit. There's still not a lot of companies that are making that 6.8 round. Right now, it's just SIG who's making their hybrid rounds. They're making, I think at one point they were going to introduce their own like 277 rifle that would have been able to handle their round. But we haven't heard much about that since SHOT Show this past February. And just like we haven't heard from the guys at PSA about the mixtape that they're doing art. Cameron, I'm still hounding on you about that. Again, I expect a DM from you later on this week. But we haven't seen much about any of the 277 stuff since SHOT Show. And it's kind of concerning because now it begs the question, why did we switch to a heavier round, a 6.8? Why did we switch to a heavier 6.8? When, of course, for me personally, this is the 6.8 I think the U.S. military dollars should win. This is my custom-built 6.8 SPC, or Special Purpose Cartridge, that was developed by Remington Arms. Now, if you don't know anything about SPC, again, somebody in the U.S. military was looking for a round that had more lethality, more lethalness downrange than 5.56, but could still be, used in a 5.56 platform, an AR-15 platform. And so the good old folks at what used to be Remington Arms, I guess Remington's still technically in business, even though they've gone through like 13,000 bankruptcies. But some of the old good folk back there in Remington Arms decided to talk to the U.S. military and said, hey, we've come up with this round that's about, I don't know, between 30 and 50 grains more, weighs more than 5.56, but still has better ballistics, terminal ballistics, punches better from about 300 to 400 yards out. It's kind of a little bit slower, but the weight isn't slowing down tremendously. It's not like it's blacked out. And so they came up with, originally called 6.8 SPC, which is a 6.8 by 39, I believe. No, I think it's 6.8 by 38 or something like that. But it was originally called a 6.8 SPC. Now, there were some trial and error with that round. So then Remington, of course, made this 6.8 SPC II, which is now the standard 6.8 SPC that everybody's seeing now. It still uses the moniker like SPC, but it's really SPC II because it's the second iteration of this round. It's casing and dimensions are a little bit better. The loads are still the same, but I think the powder that they use in those cartridges are a little bit better, so it's more stable. It can be used in AR platforms a little bit better. But again, it's shown better terminal ballistics over the 5.56 in many aspect ways. It performs a little bit better in like 13 to 14.5 inch barrels compared to the 16 inch that 5.56 performs better in, and anything higher than 16 inches. So that was where the U.S. military was kind of looking at, just kind of those barrels. But nonetheless, again, this is the 6.8 that I think the U.S. military should have went with. All right. So let's talk about my 6.8 build now. What's different about my 6.8 build, okay, is shout out to the good people at New Frontier Armory out in North Vegas, okay? Shout out to them, all right? So with this company, again, I've showcased a few, I don't know, actually I haven't showcased many products that include this, but with this company, okay, and as you can see here, I'll show you here. Again, the camera is awful. But as you can see, this particular receiver set that I have was a SHOT Show, I think 2023. And it was a first production run of these 6.8 receiver sets. And what's special about these 6.8 receiver sets, I've explained it before, is that these mimic the LWRC 6.8 platforms to where I can get a LWRC 30 round PMag and it will fit in this receiver set. It will fit specifically to this lower because again, it was modeled after that LWRC 6.8. So there's a special contract with LWRC where they, are given 30 round magazines made specifically for their, 6.8. I remember 6.8 SPC is actually 6.8 by 43. So it's shorter than 5.56 casing wise, and it's a bigger 6.8 bullet, but still fits in the AR-15 platform. But again, mine is special because again, I ordered this. This was one of the last, first production run of the 6.8s. They were making some, one similar to this with my 338 ARC, which I'll show off at some point, is also a 6.8 receiver set. But this is a SHOT Show, I believe it says 2020 on, as you can see there, it says 2020 on the lower there. And it does say 6.8 multi, and it says SHOT 2020-01. So it may have been 2020, but regardless, it's their version of the LW 6.8. And so I decided to go with this because I wanted to use PMags. Now, where I think it's going to stand out the most, so this is a 14.5 inch 6.8 ARP, which is like advanced. It's basically like a 223 Wild barrel. It just, the accuracy is a little bit better with any load with this barrel. It's a 14.5 inch. Of course, I have a Yankee Hill 12-inch quad rail, and these are thick boys right here. So I'm a quad rail fiend, as you saw in my previous video. My Saber 15 has a 12-inch quad rail, OD green, but I'm a big fan of the quad rails. I have a Magpul NVG to give it that real, like, you know, if I go to, as you can see, it's right there. You can do a C clamp, right, or straight up, you know. So it gives it that real feel with this rifle. And then, of course, I have my Yankee Hill 5x8 24 Phantom QD with a suppressor attached to it. This is my Resonator K suppressor because I have an R9 that isn't rated for 6.8, but my RK is. So, and then just a kind of a standard pistol grip with it, and then a B5 stock that's a little, you know, it's a little hard, but nonetheless, this makes it so sweet. And I think if the U.S. military would actually went with a 6.8 SPC like they had thought about it, it was in trials to replace the M4 or replace the 5.56. I was going to replace the M4, but I think the military deemed ultimately that it just, there wasn't much of a change. The only thing you would need to change is really a bolt or a BCG and a barrel. And then, of course, you're going to carry probably 25 rounds, unless they went with LWRC. You're going to carry 30 rounds of 6.8 at 43. But I guess they deemed that it might have been a little too heavy at the time, which is, again, ironic that they're going with, you know, 6.8 by 51, carrying 20 round mags. But I digress. So yeah, this is my build. I've had a little struggle with this bad boy. Its original build was just pissing me off, so I got rid of some stuff. As you can see here, if you're able to see, my charging handle is kind of a standard, and I don't like it. And there's also not a dust cover. New Frontier doesn't make dust cover uppers, which I don't have a problem with non-dust covers. But you know, my charging handle just kind of isn't able to pull that BCG back like I want it to. So I obviously gonna replace the charging handle with a Raptor, a Radiant Raptor. But everything else on it is pretty standard, and I like, you know, and I tested it out. She shoots good, and I like the fact that she's suppressed. So yeah, this is my 6.8 build. This is a 6.8 that the U.S. military should have went with. Maybe they could have copied my exact build or somebody else's build. I think this is pretty, you know, this is pretty tip top. It's not LWRC, but I think they could have went with LWRC and gotten something like this with a SIG Romeo 5 to complement it. Definitely a duty, self-defense, comp. I mean, not many rifle competitions allow 6.8. I don't know why. I guess it's just one of those things. But yeah, this is my 6.8 SPC build. And if you guys enjoyed this build, if you really enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe. You guys are helping me keep the channel going and everything else, and I'm very thankful for that. Very thankful that you enjoy my content that I put out there, and you know, I want to keep doing that for y'all, keep more content out. The next video, I think I'm gonna do it on my 9x39 or maybe my 545 when it finally gets out of being repaired for the past 3 weeks now. Be able to get on the range and shoot that and give you guys some footage with that. And with that being said, here's a little clip from a range session with this thing. It's only about 18 seconds because my GoPro died. And I really wish it didn't, because I would have been able to give you guys some looks about it, how it was suppressed. But enjoy the little 18-second snippet of it. This has been Burke Armory. I am Jamar Burke. And I'll see you when I see you. Remember, stay safe, stay Second Amendment. We'll see you when we see you.